Hello, everybody. This is Tucker Miller here again. And tonight, like I said, for my next movie review, I'm going to be reviewing on the very first Disney animated sequel, and that is The Rescuers Down Under. Came out in 1990. So, anyways, let's get to the plot. So, the plot of this movie is we got this boy named Cody, who is this character, who lives in Australia. Cody came across this giant golden eagle named Marinute, who was trapped, so Cody decided to set her free, but however, this guy named Percival C. McQueach, who is this character, and he's the film's main antagonist. Percival C. McQueach was on the hunt for Marinute, and Cody refused to tell him where she's at and where her eggs, and so Percival C. McQueach decided to kidnap Cody, and then a mouse from Australia witnessed it, and then he decided to send out the message to the Rescue Aid Society in New York, and again they sent the two heroes from the first Rescuers movie, Bernard once again voiced by the late Bob Newhart, and Miss Bianca once again voiced by the late Eva Kavour. So so Bernard and Bianca had to go to Australia to rescue Cody, and they met this other mouse named Jake, and so it's up to Bernard and Miss Bianca to rescue Cody, and that's basically what the plot is. Now, what can I say about The Rescuers Down Under? I think it's a great sequel. Yeah, Rescuers Down Under is a great sequel. Would I consider this to be better than did I like it better than the first movie? Well, a lot of people consider this to be a lot better than the first film. They like this film better than the original, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Not saying that this movie is bad. It's actually a great sequel, don't get me wrong, but yeah, Rescuers Down Under is still a great sequel, but honestly, I think I preferred the original Rescuers from 1977, which I already reviewed on that on my channel, so link will be in the description. So, yeah. So Rescuers Down Under, great sequel, and a great animated film from 1990. So, yeah. I really enjoyed The Rescuers Down Under. Has great characters, great returning characters. Here's, of course, Bernard and Miss Bianca. And, and great animation, great story, and this is a very great movie. I really enjoyed this sequel, but again, I definitely preferred the original from 1977. But this 1990 sequel I really enjoyed this sequel. It is definitely a great sequel. Great animated film from 1990. So, yeah. But anyways, let's talk about the characters, shall we? Bernard, he's once again a great character, and I would have to say Bob Newhart, the late Bob Newhart, once again did a great job voicing him. And yeah, and rest in peace, Bob Newhart. Which, yeah, it is very sad that Bob Newhart have passed away back in July of 2024, which was last summer. So yeah, R.I.P. R.I.P. Bob Newhart. He was a great actor. So yeah, and Miss Bianca, she's still a sweet and adorable and kind character, and I would definitely have to say, the wait Ava Kavor did a great job voicing Miss Bianca for this film. So yeah, and rest in peace to Ava Kavor. And fun fact, Ava Kavor, this film was Ava Kavor's last movie that she did. Yeah, Miss Bianca was Ava Kavor's last role that she did for this film. For this film, yeah, this was Ava Kavor's final film that she did before she passed away 5 years later, back in 1995. So yeah, which is sad. So yeah, this was Ava Kavor's very last movie that she did, that she starred in, which is sad. And she passed away 5 years after this movie came out. So yeah, which is sad. Rest in peace, Ava Kavor. And Miss Bianca, and again, Miss Bianca wasn't the only Disney character that Ava Kavor voiced. She also voiced Duchess from the 1970 Disney animated film The Aristocats. So yeah, she also voiced Duchess in The Aristocats. And then she would later on voice Miss Bianca in the first movie and this film. So yeah, rest in peace, Ava Kavor. So yeah. Yeah, it's sad that Ava Kavor passed away in 1995, which is sad. So yeah, but yeah, and this was her final film that she did. So yep. So Miss Bianca, she is still a great character. And now we'll talk about the new characters in this film. Cody is a great character, and so is Mara Nute. And Jake is another great character too. And of course, we got this bird named Wilbert, who happens to be Orville's brother. Orville did not appear in this film, but however, his brother did. His brother Wilbert did appear in this film. But Orville was mentioned in this film, but he didn't make an appearance. But instead, they got his brother Wilbert, and Wilbert is actually voiced by another great actor, who unfortunately passed away, John Candy. Yeah, John Candy voices Wilbert in this film. Yeah, John Candy, best known for movies such as, he was in a lot of great movies such as Spaceballs, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and Home Alone, and Cool Runnings. And yeah, and he was Wilbert in this film. And Wilbur is actually a very funny character too. Yeah. You can, because he's, and I will definitely have to say, the late John Candy did a great job voicing him. And yeah, and also, rest in peace to John Candy, which he sadly died back in, I think, 1993 or 1994. I'll have to look again. But I know he passed away sometime in the within those 2 years. So yeah. Yeah, rest in peace to R.I.P. John Candy. He was another great actor. He was a hilarious actor. So yeah, rest in peace to John Candy too. Yeah, best known for stuff like Spaceballs, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Cool Runnings, and Home Alone. Which Home Alone came out the same year as this film, 1990. So, yeah. And I did a review on Home Alone as well. So, yeah, which was almost 2 years ago. Which I might put the link in the description below if you want to check it out. I'll put my Home Alone review in the link in the description if I can. So, yeah. Yeah, this movie came out the same year as Home Alone, 1990. Which is another film starring John Candy. So yeah. And again, rest in peace to John Candy. He was a great actor. But anyways, Wilbur is a hilarious character. Love Wilbert. Now, Percival C. McQueech. I gotta say, Percival C. McQueech, he's actually a great Disney villain. McQueech is another great Disney villain. And he's pretty hilarious, kind of hilarious too. Which we'll get to in a minute. Yeah, Percival C. McQueech, he is another great Disney villain. When I first watched this film, I considered Percival C. McQueech to be one of the weaker Disney films, but on recent rewatches, like a couple nights ago, I rewatched this film a couple nights ago, and I got to say, Percival C. McQueech, I now think Percival C. McQueech is a great and hilarious Disney villain. Yeah, I really like Percival C. McQueech. He is a great villain, and pretty and kind of hilarious too, which in one scene. So yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. And his pet lizard named Joanna. Joanna is a hilarious character, and there's this scene in the movie where. Now let's talk about some scenes. There are pretty funny scenes in this film. Like, there's the scene where Percival C. McQueech, this scene where Percival C. McQueech and Joanna, Joanna, those are not your eggs. Those are not Joanna's eggs. The scene where Percival C. McQueech, where Joanna's trying to eat Percival C. McQueech's eggs. Those are not your eggs. Oh my god, this is so funny. That's one of my favorite scenes from this film. Those are not Joanna's eggs. And now, another funny scene is where Bernard tells Wilbert to watch the eggs, to watch Marinute's eggs, while Bernard goes finds Cody, Miss Bianca, and Jake, and Marinute. But he told Wilbert to watch the eggs, but he didn't. He refused to, but Bernard wants him to, yeah, and Wilbur actually end up watching the eggs, which and the scene at the end when Marinute's eggs patch, I think Wilbur got attacked by them before the end credits, and oh my god, that was so funny. Yeah, Wilbur is so funny, especially a character starring the late John Candy. Yeah, Wilbur is probably one of the best parts of the film for me of the one of the best parts of this film, and yeah, same and Wilbert, Joanna, and Percival C. McQueen are probably the best parts of the film for me, and of course, all the other characters are great too. So yeah, all the characters in this movie are great. But anyway, those are the characters I can think of on top of my head. And yeah, The Rescuers Down Under, great sequel. But probably not as good as the first Rescuers. But I still really enjoyed the sequel. So yeah, and in fact, this is Disney's very first animated sequel. And yep, and is a theatrical sequel. Is not one of those Disney direct-to-video sequels. I believe the very first Disney direct-to-video sequel was The Return of Jafar. Yeah, it was The Return of Jafar. But yeah, this is not a direct-to-video sequel. It is actually a theatrical sequel. This sequel got a theatrical release. So yeah. Which, so yeah, this is the very first sequel, Disney animated, this is the very first Disney animated sequel, and yeah, and will I review on the direct-to-video sequels in the lineup? No, but however, I do plan on reviewing on all the Disney direct-to-video sequels after I review on all the theatrical Disney animated films. Like, for this lineup, I will review on sequels like Ralph Breaks the Internet, Frozen 2, and Moana 2, and to name a few. I'll review on those sequels at some point, but yeah. But yeah, Rescuers Down Under is the very first first animated sequel that Disney has ever made. So, yeah. But anyways, that's all I can say about The Rescuers Down Under. But, so anyways, I'm gonna give The Rescuers Down Under a 10 out of 10. I gotta say, there are absolutely no flaws with this sequel. So, yeah. But anyways, that is it for my movie review on The Rescuers Down Under. And stay tuned for my next movie review, which will be on Beauty and the Beast. But until then, see you in the next video. Bye.